Hello, everyone, and welcome to this What's New in Business Central Wave 1 Spring 2022 webinar. I'm Marisa Day. I'm Client Advantage Manager at Open Door. I have a functional and technical background, and I've been implementing Business Central for over 20 years now. I also know CRM very well and other partner solutions for Microsoft Dynamics solutions. So you might know me from projects. So in addition to managing projects, I also provide solution insights and assist the Open Door analysts, devs, and implementers with projects and general support. Today, I will share key recent Business Central application features with you. The update to Business Central version 20 is available to schedule and will be pushed in June if you do not update your environments earlier. That's for cloud clients. And if you're on the ODT update protection plan, we'll be taking care of the update process for you. If you're self-managing your updates, you should make sure to update your sandbox environments first and plan the update of your production environment. So in this spring release, we're getting improvements and new features that make working with Business Central easier and provide even more integration to the tools you use in your day-to-day. Remember to submit your improvements and new features idea through the Microsoft Dynamics 365 Ideas portal. If you submit an idea, you can let us know so we can share it and upvote it. Make sure to avoid duplicates when you do submit an idea. You can check if the feature already exists or if it's planned for release, as Microsoft will update with roadmap information. And if the idea does exist already, you can simply upvote it. The ideas that get the most vote typically get on the roadmap to get deployed in future releases of the solution. This release is packed, so we will jump into Business Central. So I'll switch over my screen so we can start reviewing features. I am working for a demo from a demo sandbox environment in a Kronos Canada company. That's a demo company from Microsoft. It is on the latest release, so you will see these coming as your updates roll out. So new features in this release. From the bank accounts, you can now specify if the bank account is the default one for a specified currency in Business Central, so that the payment information that will be displayed on customer-facing reports is based on the currency your customer pays you in or based on their location. You will also see new fields, so default bank account for payment on the sales documents, and that ties into this new setup. Under the bank account too, long awaited for people who upgraded to Business Central from NAV, the bank statement report is back. It provides the details and the summary of the transactions that are reconciled, as well as information about the balances and the open items at the bank, which the current bank reconciliation report did not provide. So this is updated in this version. Since we're talking about payments and bank accounts and customer operations, some companies you do business with might be both a customer and a vendor. So when that's the case, you can avoid making unnecessary payments or receipts and save on transactions and entries you need to make by consolidating your customer and vendor balances. To use this feature, you will have to create the customer and vendor cards from a contact so the cards are linked. So you can do that from contacts. If you turn on the feature when the update rolls out, you'll be able to link using the contacts. If you need assistance to do that, you can definitely reach out to us. So as you see here, we have new fields on my card for the customer, the Canon Group. I also see their balance as a vendor from the vendor card, I see the reverse information where I would see customer information from the vendor card. You can navigate to the entries to see the details, and there are added features on the payments journal page where you can skip some manual steps in reconciliation and use the net customer vendor balances routine to create entries that will net the balances against each other. You also notice that there's a new pane in the journal check. So journal check and document checks is available too. Those are new features that will validate the data as you enter it. So you can see errors as you go and correct them without having to wait to run the test report or to get the error when you try and post. For example, if I start typing here, you will see that it will start validating lines and check them. And if I was to miss information or not provide important data, it would update and indicate that I need to fill additional fields or that documents do not balance or other information. It will tell you the lines it checked, and it will provide a detail on the issues. When you drill down on that page, you see the error page that you would normally be getting during posting, but you see it beforehand, so you can correct the data. There are also no more extra steps to accept intercompany journal entries. So from the setups, you can specify a default journal and a default batch. Typically, it would not be the payment journal. It would likely be a general journal batch that you would specify. And instead of getting to the inbox and needing to be processed by a user or by a routine, you just get the entries directly in the journal batch so you can review and post them. This next one has been requested for a long while, and it's a classic request. You can now set dimensions on locations. So under your location cards, you can now put dimensions that will behave like other dimensions you would put on master records, such as items, customers, and vendors, and those will complete the information on documents when you put a location code on said documents. They work with the same controls, same filters, and also tie into dimension priorities and dimension combinations if you use those. So you can require people to specify dimensions for locations or bring them by default on your different transactions. This also works, obviously, with the responsibility centers that tie into locations. There are improvements in the job areas. So on the jobs, if you use them and you sell items or consume items with the jobs, you can now specify that you want to use the picking process. So inventory picks and warehouse picks can be activated from the jobs. And also, this one is a change that was requested a lot. You can now specify a sell to on the job, which was the default, but you can specify build to and ship tos that you can enter on the job card to put specific information related to this job for the invoicing. There are also extra fields such as the external document number that were added or your reference field that you can use on the job card. So you get additional fields to put more information that will carry over to the invoicing and other reports and documents. I have to go a little bit in all modules because the improvements are across different areas. So if I jump on my sales order list here, you'll notice that the status field has been updated and color coded. The fonts are also different depending on the status, so you can easily spot transactions. Also, and that's the better improvement, you can select multiple lines and release or reopen them. So I'm going to try those. They're demo transactions. So I'll get a detail here telling me that I've selected 2 items. I could have selected more. And then I will get a confirmation if all documents could not be processed, and the status reverts to open. So this is useful when you have a large selection of records that you need to work with and release to the warehouse for processing. You can then use filters and select a whole list to release them all at once instead of doing them document per document, which was what you needed to do in the previous version, or might still need to do if your environment is not updated yet. The share button is as added features. So you still have the open and edit in Excel. The share to teams is there. So you have this button now, but it has been improved to give a better preview when you click on it and send. Can't do because this demo environment is not tied to my open door email directly. So when you click on it, it will send a link that will include a preview of the Business Central record in the chat you send to your colleague or a Teams collaborator. You will also get a link in the Teams link that is sent that you can use to install the Business Central app if you do not have it, so you can get directly to the records. There's also a new copy link button that you can use. Share link will also be added. It's going to be in a minor update we expect. So when you click on copy link, it really copies the link to the direct record. So here I'm on my sales orders list. And I get a link to the list of sales orders. Where it becomes really interesting is that if you're on a specific record and you open it and share the link to that record, you will see that the hyperlink will bring the person directly to the record itself. So it's great for support, but it's also great to communicate with colleagues and have them take a look at a specific sales order without having to print a PDF or email the document to them. You can simply send them the link, and if they have access to Business Central and the record, obviously permissions will apply, but if they have access, they will get to the record directly with just one click. It's great for us for support too, because you can send us a direct link to the record that is causing you trouble, and then we can review it more easily. The share link will also let you send the link directly instead of having to copy, so you'll be able to send it directly to colleagues. And that share button will also be extended. So this one is not even in preview yet. The reports, you'll be able to use a share button to send them directly to people, external or internal, based on your OneDrive settings. So this will require your admin to activate the option, but the sharing will be done as if you were sharing directly from a OneDrive folder. When you click on share, and you get this window where you can select either just internal recipients or additional recipients, depending on the options set by your admin. This is not managed through Business Central. This is managed through your OneDrive settings. You can also block or allow download and editing of the files if you're sending something that is not a PDF. And you can also set a password and other restrictions. So instead of printing or emailing or saving, then sending and sharing, you can just use that share button to provide access to documents or reports. there are quite a few improvements in the reports area. On a new page called Report Layouts, you get a full view on all the report layouts that are available. So standard, custom, RDLC, Word, other types are now all on one page instead of being across several pages. You can see real easily what's available. You can filter and search per report ID. So it makes it easier to see what's available, upload new versions of layouts, export layouts, or replace them or edit them. Moreover, you know that you can use Word to design report layouts. There are also the RDLC, so report writer format layouts. There's a new option. You can now use Excel to create or modify report layouts. So the Excel layouts will work the same as the Word and RDLC layouts you currently have, but you get added Excel features such as the sliders, the use of diagrams, charts, pivot tables you can add to the reports. So you have this new option that is available that would be useful for several reports you may be using. The report layout selection page is also updated to let you find and assign reports more easily. Account schedules are getting an update. It has been a while. Those were pretty static, so we're getting changes. Under the account schedules overview, you can now have 15 columns displayed, and these overviews can be sent to Excel. So you can use that to have your 12 periods, but also to have additional calculated columns such as differences, changes that you can see on the overview without having to go across different column layouts. Under the printing, you also have different options to set preferences and parameters. So you can use GL account categories as filters, which you could not do previously. When you print and you do not include zero balance accounts, it will still print the headers and footers and headings, so the begin and end totals will still print for the sections. So you can validate the account schedules more easily, but also you can read them more easily if you're sending out reports. You can also control all the number of zeros printed, so a dash, a blank. You can also skip the zeros. You can also import and export, so it's under process here. You can export account schedules and re-import them in other companies so that you don't need to copy them over or use configuration packages anymore to do that, or worse, redo the account schedules in the other company. You can simply export and import them on the other side, and the layouts will apply. So as we navigate through Business Central, you'll also notice that there are some changes to general performance, but also the way information is displayed. Some icons are updated too. So they're changed. You also have additional guidance. So when I hover over fields, you can have more details and cues that were not there. Those were available on most fields, so new ones are now added throughout the application. There are also new tours and training tips. I turn those off when I present because if you don't, you get green boxes popping a little bit all over. But when you click on the menu items, you can activate them. So these will let you take tours of areas and point out interesting fields and functions that you might not know about, that might be newer or that might be useful. So you can take the tour and go through the different steps that are available there. Some people prefer having an app installed on their workstation. when they're working with Business Central. So Microsoft listened. There is a desktop app available now. It's been available for a while with added features with new releases, but you had to know to install the progressive web app. So depending on the size of your screen on the other end, this might be really tiny. There's a little computer there with an arrow. When you see that on a website, any website, Business Central or other, it tells you that there's an app that you can install that will put the site and the Light app in your start menu, and you can then pin it on your bar as if you had installed the application on your desktop. Well, now Business Central is available directly from the Microsoft Store. You can install the app. That's the one if you have Business Central on-prem. That's the one if you're using Business Central online. So you can easily find it on the store and install it. What it does is that it will install an app on your desktop that provides all the functions that you have on the web app, and it will behave though as if it was really a program that you have installed on your workstation. Last thing about the interface, when you go to the Waffle, the app launcher, you will notice that instead of not seeing Business Central or seeing several icons that are more generic, you now have a Business Central app icon with that you can pin with the details and name of the environment it points to. So it is with all your Office apps in the Business Apps section. So if you use Office as your desktop, you can navigate through your apps here through the app launcher and go to all your apps, explore them if you want to, get more, and Business Central will show in your business apps when you activate the shortcut here. I'm going to skip back to the presentation here. That's the big one that I can't show because the release date is May 1 and there's no preview available. With this version, the Shopify integration, the standard one, native, that stems from the collaboration between Shopify and Microsoft will be released. So the general availability has been announced for May. The connector will provide connection between the two systems and will sync the orders, the stock, the customer information to make sure that you can fulfill the orders in Business Central and then have all the information flowing back and forth between the two applications. It will work with orders from all your Shopify channels, so Shopify POS, Shopify web orders, so the e-commerce, the Amazon channel. It will grab all those orders. You can then fulfill them. I know many of you might be using Dynamic Ship to ship your orders, so it will work with Dynamic Ship so you can process the shipping in Business Central, and the fulfillment information and the tracking information will be sent back to Shopify. So we will let clients know when this one is available and released because we know that it's a long-awaited connector. So it will be available. The date again is May 1st. There are additional features available that we could not see today because it's a quick overview. So this release is packed with feature. We'll make the presentation and the links to that release detail available to you if you want them. As I said in the opening, the webinar is also recorded if you want a recording and want to be able to share it and review it with your team. We invite you always to contact us if you have questions on this release or on Business Central in general. So we'll review your questions. We'll make sure we get back to you. I see we have a couple minutes left, so I'll take a peek in case there are questions we could be answering now. And your suggestions also for webinar topics could be on releases, could be on specific Business Central areas that you would like to explore more in a webinar format or presentation. So your suggestions are welcome. You can send them to me directly or at the High Open Door address you're seeing on the screen now. And we will make sure to include that in our planning for the next webinars. I see questions popping in. So I'm asked if we can provide more information regarding the Amazon connector. So the connector that would also grab the Amazon channel is the Shopify connector. So if you're handling your Amazon orders through Shopify processing, then that channel would also be grabbed by the connector so that sales orders come into Business Central. If you're dealing with Amazon directly, we would typically be talking about EDI transactions in this case. Business Central can do that, but it's a different thing than that Shopify connector. I do not see additional questions at this time, so I will thank you. You're welcome to send comments or notes through email, and I will wish you a good day. Talk soon.